All right, Keenan from Iowa. How do you find the market and how do you insert yourself into it? Well, I think this goes back to what I talked about at the very beginning. Is you have to first, you don't find a market, right? There's nothing to be found. There's no searching that needs to be done. I mean, unless it's within your own head, within what you want. It's really just determining who do you want to serve, right? Who do you want to provide value to? Who do you want to have as customers, right? Who would make in your mind the most enjoyable customers to have, and they also have to be the most profitable, right? You want to build a profitable business. There's literally no point to selling beef at cost or at a break even or especially at a loss, though many farmers do, which is why we're seeing so many go out of business. This is like this is something that, okay, I've been saying this at conferences, I've said it from the stage, and I tell my clients all the time. But I don't hear very many people, especially within the beef industry, talking about this. Yes, one of the reasons why beef producers, small family farms, especially small and medium sized, are going out of business and have, especially over the last 20 years, just at like a crazy rate. I mean, we lost like $250,000 in the last 20 years. I mean, that's an insane amount. Yes, there are politics and lobbying, and that plays a role. Economics plays a role, right? What the market is doing, the market economy absolutely plays a role. Supply and demand plays a role. International trade agreements play a role. There are many factors. Okay, here diseases play a role. The age of the farmers plays a role. The lack of people that are transitioning, right, or being able to pass on their farms to the next generation. Those are factors. But the main reason why people are going out of business has nothing to do with things that they cannot control. The reason why, the main reason, the number one reason why farmers, specifically beef producers, are losing their shirts and going out of business at an extraordinary rate is because they have not yet adapted to the way that business is done in 2018, or 2017, 16, 2009, 2005, 1999. They did not adapt. They did not learn. Okay? Business changed. Technology completely changed business. For those of you who have been around, right, who were actually in business before the internet, like I was, I guess the internet was around when I started my first business, but no one was using it. Like, Wikipedia wasn't around yet. Google was, I mean, you used Google for like, well, not much and nothing good, music and games and crap. And so people just didn't adapt. They didn't change. They didn't grow with the times. And that's the reason why farmers, especially right now, beef producers, are going out of business. It's because selling beef, raising beef is still the same. Actually, raising beef is easier than ever. Raising beef is easier than ever. Raising cattle? You kidding me? Like the access to information that we have is like the ordinary, the average cattle, like rancher or farmer, beef producer, the information they have access to now, like it's amazing. From like the scientific literature to the best practices for like veterinary medicine, for just animal husbandry in general, and then all of the peer-reviewed stuff that's coming out right now on like land management, on not only on animal health and but on managing the land. Like, I mean, in rotational grazing, yeah, that's huge. It's amazing, but like the soil science, soil biology, and the microbacteria, and the just the little things that we can do that have these outsized effects and return to us disproportionately large benefits in the form of profits and longevity of our animals and higher production of our land. Like, so we've done, I mean, it is easier than ever to raise beef. And it is easier than ever to sell beef. The problem is, right now in the beef industry, everybody wants to talk about soil. Everyone wants to talk about rotational grazing, regenerative agriculture. Before it was sustainable ag. We want to talk about grass-fed. We want to talk about organic. We want to talk about naturally raised. We want to talk about labels. We want to talk about the politics of like the beef industry lobbying. We want to talk about the big beef producers, the big companies, right? These big, massive international companies who dictate what we can and can't do, and they limit the market and our ability to play in the market. Nobody talks about marketing. Nobody talks about sales. Nobody talks about how to get your product in front of the right people and incentivize them to buy from you, and to buy from you again and again and again and again. And that's why I've staked my flag in the ground. That's why I have put my other activities, interests, and even businesses aside as a startup advisor, a startup inventor, startup founder, advisor, and investor. I'm not doing any of that now. I left that because I saw such a need here, right? Where I wanted to raise a family amongst the people in the community that I wanted my family to be in, that we wanted to raise our family in. It's in the farming community, right? And that's why I'm here, is because nobody is doing this. And it's something that I excel at, and it's a gift, it's an offer that I can provide. It's value that I can provide to this community. But because no one is talking about it, and there's the emphasis on all these other things, all it does is create this cycle of like dependency and this like psychological, this mindset of well, it's out of my hands, it's out of my control. And there's nothing more crippling than coming to the belief, right, or the rationalization that things are out of your control. And so that's why I think, that's the thing, that's the cause of the decline in the farmers and beef production in this country. That's number one, by far, and I would say it's 80%. And if you do not sell to the consumer, you might say, well, I don't have to market. I just go to the auction. If you depend on an auction, like, hey, I've been to auctions. I love freaking auctions. Going down here in Salina, Utah, you go downstairs, grab a burger, go sit up with some of the old timers and just talk and have a good time and watch the animals. And like, it's a riot. I get it. I love it. I want them to always stick around. If your livelihood depends on an auction, which is all it is a marketplace that you have zero control over, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be in business for very long. Auctions are going away. You don't want to hear that, but they're going away. They will not be here in a few years. And I love auctions. Nobody's safe. I don't care if you're a backgrounder. I don't care if you have a cow-calf operation, or if you just buy old dairy cows, finish them off, and sell them as ground beef, or wholesale, right? We got a guy that comes down from Idaho, and he sells, I think it's a Taco Time down in California, Taco Bell or Taco Time, and he brings down those dairy cows from Idaho, comes through Utah, makes a couple stops, and then heads down to California. And he's vulnerable just like everybody else. The people who are not vulnerable, maybe set this. Those who are not vulnerable are the ones who are investing in their own education and are taking the responsibility off of factors they cannot control and putting it firmly on their own shoulders and voluntarily bearing that weight, right? And there are a lot of reasons why people don't want to do this. There's a lot of things that have stopped me in the past. There are a lot of things that I still struggle with, right? There are a lot of beliefs that I have that limit my progress, my happiness, and my what I do today, what I'll do tomorrow, right? They limit me, and I'm trying to rid myself and free myself of those things and burn them off and move past and beyond them because they don't serve. Some of those things are, technology is just moving so fast. The world is changing so fast, I can't keep up. Oh, this is one that I think a lot of us have had it at one point or another. Yes, you can. If my 8-year-old can keep up, you can keep up. No, he wasn't born this way. No, our kids don't just no, they're just not natural. No, they're curious. That's why they figure it out. They are willing to learn, and it hasn't been pounded into their head, and they haven't repeated it subconsciously or even consciously in their mind as this inner chatter for decades that I'm too old, right? Or I can't learn this, or it's too hard, or I have other priorities. I need to spend my time over here, or I have to go make a living at my job. So I can't come do this. I need to find someone else, right? There are all kinds of things that we tell ourselves. And the reason why kids can learn things at young ages, at 4, 5, 6 years old, they can figure out this technology. They can figure out like these software programs and they can teach themselves things, it's because they're curious. And they don't have this limiting belief of, I can't learn this or this is too hard. Like they don't have this internal dialogue or monologue of, well, I'm only 5, so I can't do this, right? I'm only 34, I can't do this, right? I'm too old to learn, or I don't care if you're 64, I don't care if you're 84, you're not too old to learn. It's all what you believe and what you're willing to invest in. And marketing is the difference. Marketing is the difference. That's going to absolutely determine whether or not you succeed or fail. And I don't care how much money you make, right? So I met last year with the co-founder of Airbnb, okay? I went down to San Francisco. I had a friend who set this up for us, so we were doing some consulting together, and we sat down and spent a couple hours. I won't say it wasn't quite half a day, but about 3 hours. And his name's Joe, is the co-founder of Airbnb, Joe Gebbia. If Joe, I don't know what Airbnb is worth right now, but it's probably in the 20, 30, 40 billion, somewhere around there. And it's not that old. It's 6, 7, 8 years old. And he's young. He's younger than I am. If Joe has taken it upon himself to learn marketing, you should. Like, he literally has hundreds of people who work for him. Hundreds. At this point, they have thousands. 2018, they have thousands that do marketing. And he has taken it on him to learn. There's no reason, there's no excuse, there's no way that you can convince me or someone else other than your own, like in your head, that you should not learn marketing and absolutely be a marketing expert. And the great thing is you don't need to figure it out on your own over time. You don't have to do it over the next 10 years or 15 years like it's taken me. You can learn from people like me, and there are tons. I'm not the only one. There are so many out there. I think I am actually the only one in beef, which is crazy. It's crazy that I'm the only guy in beef that actually knows what he's talking about who is teaching this stuff right now. It blows my mind, and I wish it wasn't the case. Why? I wish there were other people that were competing on me for your attention, competing with me for your attention, that were sharing this stuff. Because competition, for one reason, is I'll up my game. Right? I will up my game when there's competition, people that are competing for your attention, that want to teach you marketing, want to help you with your business. Man, I will up my game if there's competition because I want to win. I want to be the best at this. Okay? So I forgot where I was going with that. Anyways, I'll jump off this. But might be controversial, but yeah, that's the reason why beef producers are going out of business. And the amazing thing is, it is in our control, right? We don't have to go out of business. Nobody has to go out of business because of forces outside of their control, okay? As long as you focus on marketing, become a marketing expert, and you will never lack for customers, you will never lack for profit, you will never lack for sales. But that is the thing that you should be spending a disproportionate amount of your time getting great at, okay? If you are, right, and for some of you, this is just the case. This is just your reality right now, where you're at in your business, is that it's just you. You have to do it all. So you have to go check on the cows in the morning and break the ice, and you have to feed them in the evenings or whenever. And you have to do all of these things. You have to ship the products. You have to create the Instagram posts. You have to write the emails. Like maybe you're a one-woman or one-man show right now. That's okay. Everybody starts there, right? But you still need to focus. Spend a disproportionate amount of your time, add 15 minutes to your day right now learning marketing, okay? 15 minutes, just start there. Add 15 minutes. That 15 minutes a day over the next month that's gonna really matter, right? I don't know how many hours that is, but that's a ton of time that you otherwise would not put in, and you're gonna be further down the path, and you're gonna be better at marketing. And that is the thing that's responsible for sales and responsible for the success of your business. All of the other things, while important and even necessary, they don't sell beef. The only thing that sells beef is marketing. If you're not good at marketing, you're not going to sell very much beef. Okay, I've said my piece. Rant over. All right. So Keenan and I hope that answered your question. Choose who you want to sell to and then sell to them.